welcome once again to Conscripted, episode 11. I would list the current world date, but as usual, I forgot to have the calendar open in front of me. It is presently the 21st of Virden. All right, Spinks, can I get your camera on, please?
No.
Well, then I'll kick you from the call.
There's my
And
camera
can I
on.
get you on the camera, please?
Huh.
All the way, please. 3, 2. Oh, and it crashed. And that's what happens. All right. So, who wants to do our recap? Who remembers last week?
I can tell you who doesn't remember. He may have vomited all over the place in the process, too.
Nope, I don't know who you're talking about.
I think he should give his own drunken history recap of it. That'd be funny. Just
I have no
randomly,
recollection.
mix up every detail.
That's all right. What does Cassius think happened once he got into town?
He was being a generous guy and going to find the inn and buying people dinner and getting rooms, and then he woke up.
Perfect. 10 out of 10. All right, let's go with the session. Let's go.
I think somebody cast like a sleep spell on me or something.
I'd say outside of like logistics stuff, we had like a Ghostbusters session where the most defining moment of the last session, I think, was just like that night where essentially all of us, except for Thompson's character, had some sort of weird supernatural experience. Sphinx Aura was like, for some reason, being influenced into trying to kill Arius? Yeah, Arius, right? Arius was having some sort of communication where he was like in his sort of like attacking himself, although he thought he was attacking something else, sort of like some sort of childhood memory. I can't remember what Cassius's memory was. It was
the Wayfinder.
Oh yes, you saw someone's face was the Wayfinder, like Sphinx Aura's face, I believe.
Pretty tame comparatively.
And then I had like an out-of-body experience with the sentient weapons that I have. And after a lot of discussing and Sphinx Aura sort of sensing and stuff, we confirmed that we aren't crazy. We do just have a bunch of really weird artifacts in our possession at the moment. Then after sorting that out, we were just about to begin our negotiations with the guild that we arrived at.
Excellent.
And other than that, there was just
something I want to bring up
details.
that's slightly out of character, but something I want to put a pin in is Zeke seems to be interested in wizards, and I don't know why. And it's kind of interesting, 'cause I was thinking back on it. He also mentioned that this was out of character, but he said he was interested in the Black Blade that harms spellcasters. And out of character, he also said he was putting something on a wizard map. And I was like, wait, what? It was kind of going by quickly, and I wasn't really paying attention. But I think Zeke wants to murder wizards, so I don't want to try and figure that out. But we'll see.
Well, good. I have nothing to worry about.
No, just the other 3 arcane spellcasters might want to take a moment.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not a wizard. Oh gosh, there's a difference.
Yeah, lots of people can't tell the difference. Arcane tastes like arcane. All right, so you guys had met up, had your morning discussion about the items that you have and the dreams that you had. For that recap, Mal, why don't you go ahead and take 100 XP? And Cassius, why don't you get 15 for your recap?
Perfect. That'll level me.
But in your mind, as you remember it, it was like 2,000 XP. And it was like the hottest 2,000 XP you've ever seen in your life.
Like temperature-wise, or like
all of the above.
You know wise. Oh, drunken jokes.
All right. So after your morning discussion, what is the plan?
We're still in the conference room, right?
You're presently. I don't think you guys
We
had
are.
gone anywhere yet. Oh yeah, that's right. Because you guys found a place to privately do this, and then we're waiting for the Guilders Union to call you in.
Correct.
Yeah, because we remembered not to have these arguments in public again.
Yes, I do remember that. All right. So some amount of time passes, and there will be a gnome that steps into the room. Are you the military units that have been sent to help us with our issue?
We are.
Very good. So you will not be meeting with all of us. I will be handling this conversation for right now. I'm going to skip quite a few of the pleasantries. Names are a little less important at the moment. What is important is making sure that things get done. I assume that if you've been sent here for this mission, you're a substantial equivalent to the group that previously comes. You are all seemingly well put together, I can only assume. Whom is your current leader, or what form of leadership have you set up for yourselves?
I am first in command, and if something should happen to me, I point to Arius as second in command.
Excellent. Do you have a full chain of command as it falls, or is it just a 1 and then 2?
For now, it's just 1 and 2. I'm still trying to gauge how much I trust the Ghost Whisperer and the Drunk, but
Nice joke.
I'm just kidding. I don't actually say that. No, we just
I don't know
have
what you're talking about.
we just have a 2-person hierarchy for now.
Very good.
If needed, we'll establish it.
I will assume it will revert to some form of democracy afterwards. So, here is what we need. You've probably been briefed on it well enough overall. But outside, we have been having some issues, a lot of issues, with shipments making it from here out or from out in. In fact, a few of our shipments have actually been put on hold until we can effectively deliver a messenger out to our relay points to ensure that deliveries will continue. So it is important that we identify the problem and we solve it permanently. We're not looking for a short-term solution. Clearing up 1 or 2 bandits and bringing them back with their heads is not proof that you've solved the problem. The problem will only be solved when you have brought back answers as to what is happening and why.
Before we assume bandits, how many people are inherently aware of these shipments and the planning of their routes?
There are quite a number of people. You see, in the Guilders Union, we all are aware of all shipments going in and out of the city, of the town, and what is in each of those shipments, the relative frequency of those shipments, like the length of time it will take to get from one point to another.
Isn't that like a complete security nightmare? Why does every single person in your organization need to be aware of shipments?
It actually works out to be less of a security nightmare. You see, when everyone knows what everyone has, people tend to be a little bit less willing to perform acts of theft. They tend to be a little less willing to perform acts of secret importing of other goods. Weights are very heavily tracked. Inventories are very heavily checked. Getting through the gate is a very difficult process if all of your ducks aren't properly in a row. I understand where you're going, though, and it's a good line of thought. We have not necessarily ruled it out. It is possible that outside there are people that are being hired, maybe mercenaries perhaps, that are working to cause problems for the town. However, I will say that there is a very large amount of risk that comes along with that kind of behavior. It could really throw apart some of the businesses here, and many of the businesses wouldn't take that chance. We also have a bit of a zero tolerance policy for these kinds of things happening. If more than a certain number, and it's a very slim number of shipments, has problems, a thorough investigation is usually performed. We get regular visits from you, the military, and we utilize your services as best we can, making sure that problems like this don't happen. And no one in this town wants to be a victim of the military. Conscription has its benefits, but it also has its pains. And no one here wishes to find themselves at the bottom of a lion's belly. So if you do find out that someone here is hiring mercenaries to perform this action, please give us their heads.
I mean, yes, we'll act first on your actionable information that you believe it to be out, like an external force dealing with this. But if our investigations lead to nothing, it would seem the most rational solution is that there's probably an internal leak that's causing your problems. The larger the organization, the more corrupt they get, in my very personal experiences.
Mm-hmm. I could understand why you would believe that. We're a little bit different than most of your organized societies, though, so I think you might find a little bit differently, but who knows? As of right now, though, it has impacted all of our shipments across the board, and so no one is taking chances bringing in anything of any substantial size or quantity. So, our plan is fairly simple, and this is a plan that only a handful of us know the details of. So if what we're planning to do ends up successfully, we'll easily identify the few people that are involved in the ordeal. You are going to be moving a shipment out of town. You're going to act as its bodyguards, and we're going to disguise you as best we can in the simplest and easiest way possible. And he reaches behind him, and he seems to reach into nothing and pull out 5 flat discs, which he slides across the counter to each of you. And as they slide, they kind of pop up and look like little wizard hats. These are hats of disguise. You will use them during the trip to make yourselves appear as though you are common nobodies. Maybe travelers going with it, maybe some low-level thugs, whatever is necessary to fool anybody who might think that they have an opportunity here. This will be about a medium-sized cart. It will be right along with our what our plan was, to see how small they are willing to get to that they'll let pass. So we've noticed that carts of a specific size tend to be able to get through just fine. And as we start to go up a little ways, there is a point at which it seems they will assault us. So we think we've chosen the correct cart sizing. We believe we have everything in the way that we need to make sure you are optimally interesting to them and therefore interruptible.
Okay, that seems reasonable, but presumably who's ever been botching your shipments has been watching these shipments, so we've already entered your premise, and we definitely don't look like normal wizarding or crafting guild's crew, so perhaps we should leave with the masks, or the hats of disguise, and rendezvous with your shipment at a later point before it leaves the city.
If you believe that is an effective strategy, I have no problem with that. But your hats can change you at any given time. So you may leave as yourselves, come back in how you wish. The plan is up to you. We've developed as much of the plan as we can think of, and we leave the rest to you.
Right, I just mean that a group of the Air Force military coming into this facility and then never leaving might look really suspicious.
That is true. If somebody is monitoring the area, they would see you guys come. And if they don't see you go, they would probably assume that you're traveling with this cart. It is a very likely conclusion, especially if, as you say, it is an internal problem.
Okay, how about this? We'll leave, and then you can begin departure of this caravan, and we will rendezvous with it at the gate after we've had adequate time to just split up.
Well, our concern is the assaults happen not too far, so please don't journey too far from the...
They happen within the city?
Not within the city. No, we get a good ways out of the city. But my worry is you might wait. You might put an hour between you and the cart leaving, and it doesn't seem to get to be at about the hour mark. It seems to happen a little bit earlier than that. It's before the road starts to decay.
No, I mean, we'll wait at the gate to rendezvous as it leaves the city.
Oh, excellent. That sounds to be an effective strategy. Would you be leaving today, or when would you like us to plan this for?
I think we just had a few minor things to take care of in the city, so you could probably plan a departure today, and we could use the 2 hours while you're getting that ready to finalize any business we have here. Does anyone need more time than that?
Nope.
Excellent. We will set up a shipment that will go out this afternoon, if that is good enough time for the 5 of you.
Think so.
Wonderful. Are there any further questions?
You first.
No, just tell whoever is escorting the wagon besides us that our code word will be, since we'll be in disguise, obviously. I don't know. Who has a good code word? I don't.
Well, speaking of this, who else is aware of this general plan? Is it just you, or?
No, I myself am the leader of the Illusionist Guild. I have the plan. The next person with the plan is the captain of the Guild of Defense. You would kind of think of that as our own personal, police force or constably. I can never use that word properly. Common is a very weird tongue. We also, the Guild of Coin, will be directly involved in this, as will the Guild of the Divine, and lastly, the Masons Guild.
So you're saying the leaders of all these guilds are aware of the plan?
Yes, just the leaders of these 5 guilds are aware of the plan.
Okay.
We have been specifically ordained to come up with a solution to try to identify the best way to execute this. And this has been deemed by the 5 of us to be the best logical solution that we have.
And what are these just like average shipments of like any random goods? Like, well, I'm wondering what kind of disguise we could take where we don't look threatening. Like, could we a traveling band of merchants that happen to go with the caravan? Would that be weird?
Merchants would be very likely. Having a number of merchants with the caravan would be traditional. Normally, many of our shipments are sent out as multiple ordered shipments. So you might have some of the things from, say, the Merchants Guild, the smaller items, trinkets, baubles, etc. You might have some Weapons Guild stuff that's on the cart. You might have some of the Armorers Guild stuff on the cart. You might have some raw material stuff. You might have some of the Spice Guild transporting some of their stuff. These are all things that could be on a single cart, and it's likely they would send their own individual merchant along with the cart to ensure it reaches its destination, as well as to make sure that the highest prices are being allocated for the items sold.
Okay, well, I'm not the leader here, but I would suggest that we don't let anyone else besides the leaders know this plan. And you just let the people traveling the caravan know that a group of merchants will meet them at the gate to accompany the shipment, and the merchants will be up.
Yes. I will make sure I will make sure that is explained to them. Thank you. That is a good point.
Is that typical that merchants would meet the caravan at the gate, or would they normally jump on at a different point?
They could meet at the gate if there was another shipment in line, or maybe somebody was traveling from a specific place. Maybe like somebody has a small living space somewhere. They might come from there and around to reach the gates. There's a number of places that people could come from. It is usual, though, that at some point before the cart has left the visible range of the nearby towers, that the merchants will have met up with the caravan.
Okay, so it wouldn't be uncommon. Perfect.
No, not at all.
All right.
Very good questions. I don't think we'd have had questions quite this good from the usual group.
We're trying to rebrand ourselves. We're thinkers now.
Well, we'll see if that thought gets put to good use. I have no further questions for you. I put my faith in you. And if it doesn't work out, then I hope that the military will forgive you.
Did we set a time when we're meeting this caravan at the gate? Did you say 2 hours from now?
No, at this point, let's say about 6 hours from now.
Okay.
About the third sun's rise would be a good idea, I believe.
All right.
And the merchants to come up with our disguises, we can just, we would see them in the shops, or?
Oh, yes. You can walk around, get a look at how some of the merchants dress, get a look at how just, some of the general population is, and kind of dress yourselves accordingly.
I thought that's what the hats were for.
Yes, well, the hats will dress you accordingly.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we need to be all disguised as multiple types of merchants.
Right. Okay.
So we need to see,
Yeah.
what they all look like differently.
True. All right.
All right.
And these are regular hats of disguise, right?
They are regular hats of disguise. You only have them for this mission. Each of you is also given a small sheet of paper that has some writing in Gnomish on it. You'll need to show these to the guard if by some chance you are caught with those hats in your possession.
Is there some issue with magical powers in this town?
We have issues against people attempting to use things of the illusory manner for questionable purposes, and so there are regulations requiring your items to be registered with the guilds. Each of these hats has a registration. Do any of you have access to invisibility or other disguise-style spells?
Negatory.
I mean,
sir.
apparently it showed up, so I got.
Okay, yeah, you do have invisibility. It's actually part of your patron's patron stuff.
Oh.
So he'll write an additional thing on your sheet of paper when he hands it to you. Very good. Then I believe this is all I have for you. I will not be meeting you at the gate for the shipment. It will look too odd if someone of my standing is there overseeing the exit of a shipment. No one will be aware of anything other than we're just trying to get a shipment out of town, as we've been doing for the last couple of days. Many people might ask why the shipment is a little larger, but they do know that we are testing regular shipments.
Is there a set number of people that go on these missions usually?
Not particularly. Usually, it depends on the size of the cart. The bigger the cart, the more the merchants that might come along. There are occasionally a handful of mercenaries that they may employ to go with them, but in many cases, those mercenaries are just whatever they can happen to find around town. Most of the people that are part of the Defense Guild are part of protecting the town and not necessarily for hire. And the Mercenaries Guild, well, that doesn't exist. We had some issues with the Defense Guild and the Mercenaries Guild being at odds with each other, and we were forced to shut down the Mercenaries Guild.
Okay.
Gotta move on.
Well then, with that, let's settle up things in town. Everyone find a merchant style that they feel they can impersonate well, and we'll meet at the gate an hour before third sunrise.
Sounds good.
Excellent. All right, so what do you guys want to do in the meantime besides finding your targets?
All right, so when we're out of there, I'm gonna, I got something I gotta say real quick.
Sure.
So let's check these hats, make sure that there isn't anything weird about them. That they are just hats of disguise, as we're told.
Sounds like a good idea.
Can try and spell.
think he would give us.
Should we go back to the inn or something first?
Yeah. We don't want to, have them where somebody can see them.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone's agreed, going back to the inn to try to identify the hats.
Yep.
Okay. How are you going about the identification process?
Somebody detect magic and spellcraft would be.
Yeah, I can try just a spellcraft check. This Sphinxor can try too. And we can double check each other's findings.
Yep. Okay. So the two of you can notice they are all 5 woven almost identically. They are very clearly just hats of disguise.
All right, excellent.
When you say that, is this like if I was just holding this out in public, people would know this to be a hat of disguise, or just looks like a hat to know the normal?
It just looks like a normal wizard hat right now. They would know it to be a hat of disguise if they looked at a small label that is on the inside of it, identifying it as a hat of disguise. Additionally, if they were using a detect magic, a successful spellcraft would also identify this hat. But the way when I talk about woven, magical items are woven with magical line fabric, so you can actually see the magic that runs through the item in a kind of woven line form, and these are run with illusory magic, and it tends to have kind of a specific hum about it that identifies what kind of illusory magic it is. And that's kind of what spellcrafting is. It's acting like kind of a tuning fork to what the magic you're looking at being harnessed or that is currently harnessed is.
When you're saying these lines, this isn't viewable by the average person. This is like a detect magic viewing, right?
Correct. This is a detect magic. The arcane world functions as almost its own plane. I don't like to call it its own plane, but magic operates with a series of lines that run throughout the world. And when you create magical items, you're kind of peeling up bits of the lines and tying them together to form the magical energy that will power the item that you have.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mal, we have time to get rid of those gems as well. I told them that we were coming today.
Yeah, I think we should finish pawning off everything before we start any other endeavors. So you can go ahead and do that, or we can...
Well, I mean, we need to look at merchants anyway. That'd be where all the merchants are, right?
Yeah, just while
Sure.
we're there, we need to... Don't forget.
Yeah, no, that was one of the things I remember you mentioned to me, so that's why I requested extra time.
Yep.
Come on. I knew this was going to be a problem.
Anyone else having Discord issue where everyone's screen keeps flashing?
I'm having that too, yeah. So it's not
that,
just
yeah.
It's really bothering me.
I've been looking into alternative options to Discord for a little while. Michelle and I played around with one the other day that I did not like at all. There are not a lot of good options on the market, and the ones that are worth a dime are $15 a month. And with no Patreon supporting this channel, I can't exactly afford any additional dollars a month.
Typically, the only other one people use is Google Hangouts, right?
No,
Zoom,
Koibu uses Zoom. I played around with TeamViewer's option. Hangouts is very problematic because it runs through a browser, and it has many of the same problems we had when people on this were using the Discord through a browser. It's really just largely a multi-point bandwidth issue. What I would like is a solution that's hosted on a server that I control, because then I can set up more bandwidth to it. But as of right now, I don't really have access to that. And that's the most expensive option to go through anyway. So
yeah.
All right, so you guys are finding a merchant to unload your stuff with. Let me bring up that sheet as a reminder of what you all have. And party fun. All right, so you're not going to find a general purpose merchant, so you are going to get some time by doing this to go visit with a number of different merchants.
I did find that jewel crafter.
Yes,
right?
You did indeed.
His business card thing.
Yep.
So that's where we want to make our first stop, see what he can accept.
Okay. When you arrive, the dwarven man is happy to see you again. As you said, you had quite a number of gems.
Mm-hmm.
Hello again.
Hello. I have your card, and I upload that cardboard or whatever he gave me, and I'll say, Mal, show him the goods.
So I would produce the gems that he had previously described to the merchant.
Okay. When you pull out the topaz and the black pearl, he gets very excited by the two of these. These are quite rare. It's not often I see a topaz like this. Yes, I think you might be in quite luck, and a black pearl of this size is often a very valuable wizard item. This will be quite good. The rest of this, I'll think we could work out something. Give me a moment. Let me do some calculations here.
Don't forget about that military percentage you said you were going to work in there for me.
Indeed. Actually, considering what you have here, you might get something of a special deal beyond that.
Nice. We're looking to head out of town today, so it's good to get this out of the way.
Yes, I believe I could offer you 1,200 for this. No, I'll tell you what. Actually, let's say 1,250 for this. I believe you'll find that's better than what I quoted you for a deal.
That is true. What do you say, Mal? You're
1,200 for
1250.
the entirety of these.
1,250 for the whole set. And I can give it to you in the coin of your choice. Or we can exchange for gems and I will give you raw value.
Mal does some quick deduction and reasons that, yes, this is a very reasonable percentage, and gives like the exact number.
Good. So, coin or gems? Or gem coin. Your choice.
Easiest
Flipping back into the gnome.
easiest to travel, I would say, would be coin or gem coins.
Very good. Not the gnome. Dwarf. Very good.
Yeah.
Then I will... Give me one moment and I will procure those for you. He turns and rummages through a box for a little bit. And he procures for you... bring up my chart real quick. Why is it scrolling? Oh, you're scrolling that. That's why that's moving.
Oh, are you on the sheet right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just deleting all the gems.
Oh yeah, it was just weird because I was scrolling something else and that was moving, so I thought my mouse wheel was somehow controlling a different window.
Apologies. No, I was just deleting all the gems.
Yes, so that will be...
So 1250.
13 sapphire pieces and 5 platinum pieces. Yes?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're all still together, we haven't split up, right?
Nope.
So everybody can just take, so 13 divided by 5, 5 by 6. So everyone just takes 22 platinum pieces and adds, and then I will add the 22 to the pond.
Okay.
Right, that's how we're doing it? It's like split 6 ways, and then
Yeah.
1/6 goes in the party fund? Okay. So yeah, everyone just add 22 platinum pieces.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So with that handled, I would go and I personally would be interested in going to where the Smiths hang out. I probably wouldn't need a lot of observation, but I would still like to know how Smiths in this area dress. Although, like actually looking like a Smith, I'm obviously pretty good at because it's what I used to do.
Okay. I would just. Are you telling us this or?
No, I'm just saying to Steve, like.
Okay.
Now that we've sort of taken care of that, and we're trying to like find disguises, I'd be looking around for Smiths.
What's the general plan? Are we just all dividing? Are we all just splitting up and finding our own outfits and then?
Okay, so you guys aren't going to try to unload any of the magical gear. You're going to continue to hold on to it for now.
Well, when you asked last session, you said there wasn't anyone who would buy weapons here.
No, I said there was nobody that would buy the Dagger of Venom here. And any mundane weaponry, but you do have the potions, scrolls, wands, etc.
So there is like someone interested in magic stuff, just not specifically the dagger.
Correct. The dagger is a hard thing to move because it's a poisoning dagger.
Oh, okay. So people just don't want that type of. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, the people that do are not people that any of these people want to deal with.
Yeah, then I'd say most of these are pawnable if we can find a place that will give us a fair price.
Yeah, if you roam about for a bit, you can find somebody who will buy them at 60% of their value.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Probably more than, like, is anyone... Out of character, was anyone planning to use any of these? I don't think I ever would see myself. I can cast Acid Splash for free, so...
Do we have, like, a public loot sheet? Is that what we're looking at? Or?
Yeah. The party sheet right now it's not publicly viewable.
Okay, so I mean, probably I'm not using any of them, but I got no idea what it is.
Well, can you even use magical stuff?
Potions, yeah.
There's no potions. The potion removes sickness I'm keeping, the other stuff. It's all like scrolls and wands. Okay. Yeah, then I'll just pawn those at 60%.
Okay. So yeah, that'll give you 315 in total gold value.
Checks. Yep, checks out.
Cool. All right, so now you've seen somebody who does magic. You've seen somebody who is a jeweler. Mal, you're going to go look for... okay, you're going to go to Spice Shop. And then Mal is checking out forgers. How about you, Zeke?
So everybody can add 52 gold and 5 silver.
Cool.
Okay.
I mean, I'm probably gonna look at like cloth merchants, something like that.
Okay. Cool. That is easy to do. And Sphinx, what about you?
I might just stick with looking like jeweler.
Okay. Excellent. So let me have each of you give me a perception check, followed up by a disguise check. And your disguise check will be at a +20. It'll be an additional +2 if you rolled higher than 15 on your perception. That's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
just wait,
best
guys. Just wait.
The best part is I rolled a 6 on my disguise, or I rolled a 6 on my perception, and I rolled a 13 on my disguise, and got the same number.
I think, though, it's not going to matter too much, but just in case it does, Disguise Self gives you a +10 bonus to disguise. All
I
right.
can't see, but apparently I can disguise myself.
Yeah, you do a horrible job emulating, or you do a horrible job, like, remembering or getting a good look on what the jeweler looked like. But by the end of it, you kind of make it up as you go along, and you're definitely disguised as something that looks kind of like a jeweler. Mal, you've done a job at disguising yourself. Arius, you've done well. Cassius, you've done okay. And Zeke, you are disguised-ish. So when all of you meet each other, give me one more round of perceptions.
Oh, thank God.
Before we do this, can I do something quick?
Yes, go ahead.
When I'm looking for my like quote unquote disguise, I wanted to go into like a clothing store that would just have specific clothing for perhaps spellcasters. Maybe is that a thing I can find here?
Yes, you can find that within the magic shop if you're looking specific. Well, there's a certain designation of magic shop that has that in it. Yes.
Okay. So once I'm in there, I'm gonna pull out the hat of disguise and ask them if they have a hat that looks just like this one.
They tell you that they have one that looks very similar, but they do not have one that looks just like that one.
How much for the similar hat?
The similar hat will be 5 silver pieces. I should warn you, though, that it does not have the words "hat of disguise" on the inside. And
I didn't show him the inside.
He
How did they know
taps
that?
on his glasses.
Oh, okay. Yes, very astute of you. I don't want to reveal that I have this item. I, of course, am allowed to have this item. I'll kind of give him the gnomish paper if he wants it, but
He waves that it's okay. It would be very foolish of you to walk in here and show him a hat of disguise if you didn't have the proper papers for such things.
yes, I just don't want to. I want to wear it about without people. I want to wear this normal hat to look the same if I want to switch it on the fly, kind of thing. You know
Certainly.
what
I have no problem with that. I just need to make sure you're not thinking that by buying this hat, you're buying a hat of disguise.
Of course, of course.
Very good.
All right, I'm gonna buy that hat, and that hat's gonna be part of my my disguise.
Okay.
I want to look like a wizard merchant thing, not
Okay.
like an actual spellcaster, but like someone who deals in wizard items, I guess.
Got it. All right, so let me have everybody give me perception checks to see how the rest of the party did.
Yeah.
Good job, Sphinx. I don't actually understand this. It's not just when you roll perceptions that you have a negative, because your negative is only 2.
2.
Yeah.
And yet your rolls are consistently, like, below 5.
Mine's pretty bad too.
Alright, so let's see. Mal and Zeke. Zeke, you can identify that Mal's disguise could maybe use a little bit of work. And Mal, you can identify that Zeke's disguise could maybe use a little bit of work.
Is he just wearing like a mustache?
Mal comes up and he's got like a little mustache and he's got like he's got leathers on over top of what looks like they're kind of merchant robes, but like not really. So you guys can both. Go ahead.
Yeah, is there an opportunity for us to improve their disguise, or
That's the idea here. So they get
Okay.
a recheck if they would like to re-roll their disguise.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll mention it.
Okay. So Mal, you get a re-roll on your disguise check.
My original roll was really good, actually.
I thought no, your
No,
original
wasn't
roll
it
was a
6
17.
or 7. Disguise 7.
Yeah, but the roll was a 16.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, what the hell? Why do you have -9? What the?
My face is mutilated.
Oh, Jesus.
That's like the whole thing. Is like my face is like literally
Can you get
like
him a mask or something?
like me trying to disguise my face would be like I don't know like what I'd even do. Like I'd have to put on
Can
like
you
a
get, like
layer.
a huge hood or something that like
That's
shadows
what I
it or
usually
something?
do is wear
Yeah.
a hood.
This character has a hood on.
So can we kind of negate this penalty for this specific, like, can the magic here?
No,
help with
and
that?
bear in mind that disguise is not simply like an appearance thing; it's also a
Right.
mannerism thing, and it's getting used to it.
Mm.
So you've made these changes, and he doesn't have like a scar on his face, but he's still moving like a soldier, or like somebody who's like a trained fighter, or somebody who's like had to survive for a little while out in the wilderness would. So those are kind of what Jack is, or what Zeke is seeing in this kind of situation. If that is, you're willing to take it because you still have a reasonable disguise, so you don't have to reroll. Tom is just offering you like, hey, I can see some parts of this aren't necessarily as good as they might want to be.
I thought you said if someone succeeded on perception, they get a +2 on their disguise, not a reroll.
That was in the early part. Yeah. This is now you guys coming together as a group and evaluating like how each other's disguises are. And Spinks is just amazed that everybody is wearing disguises. Arius is like, everybody's disguises look fine. Great. Yeah. Cassius is kind of in the same place. Like, yeah, everybody looks disguised. You two kind of...
Yeah, they're all dressed.
Yeah, you two kind of notice a couple of little things, but there's some things that you won't be able to improve because you're still, like, kind of set in your old ways. The whole scar thing is not just the fact that the scar is on your face, but also that it has kind of an impact on, like, the way you've perceived, the way that other people have perceived you, and that's caused you to kind of perceive how people perceive you. And it affects the way your mannerisms interact with others. So you don't have to take the reroll. You're still potentially fine at a 17 total.
No, it'd be 19 total, right? Because I passed my perception as well.
Did you? I might have misread the wrong line because they all kind of hit it. Yeah, it would be a 19 because you passed your perception.
Yeah, that's as good as
I'm actually now realizing that Zeke wouldn't even notice. You pass the familiarity difference as well. But you would definitely notice Zeke's, and you could tell Zeke that his might need a little bit of work.
Who are you impersonating, Zeke?
Cloth merchant.
Trying to think like what I would say. Like, cloth merchants are very, very protective of their fine, delicate clothing, like, and they're trying to market that to very snobbish people, like, especially humans. Like, the amount of money those people will spend on clothing is insane. So you want to treat your clothing items like they're precious, like they've never been touched by anyone except the creator of them.
All right, and Zeke keeps that in mind and fabricates himself a much better outfit.
I saw spices.
All right, so you've all got your disguises pretty well in tow, and the plan is. Go ahead.
Just out of curiosity, did I have to take my hat off to put on the other hat?
You can put the hat over the other hat. They actually kind of fit at about the same size.
Okay, good.
All right. So your plan was to meet the cart outside the gates or inside the gates?
Well, just for the record, we did make I would think we would make a show of the military, quote unquote, leaving this, and then we would have disguised ourselves with the disguise, and then came back in. I guess it would be up to Mal if we would venture into the city a little bit or wait at the gate for our cart.
Well, I would have just told everyone after we're I guess we're back together now. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought we were splitting up and meeting at the cart separately so that this.
I would, yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
Part of the plan is we were supposed to show us leaving the city. The military has left, so that people, if someone was watching, they would not suspect we were anything.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to specifically leave the guild. I mean, I'm sure I don't know if like we'd actually have to literally leave the city and then sneak back in. That's probably actually would draw more attention, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, if the military is like in their hotel room or whatever, like I don't think that'd be an issue.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So we show up at the gate in our disguise already. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not at the exact same time.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I would agree with Zeke that I don't think it would make sense for a bunch of random merchants of various trades to show up together.
Of course. Yeah, okay.
No problem.
So yeah, I guess we just wait by the gate.
Okay. So the 5 of you can meet up with where the cart is being loaded. There is quite a bit of stuff on this cart. And as it stands right now, there are about six or 8 people. It's a little hard to tell because they're going in and out of a building. And if you're not really familiar with dwarves can sometimes start to look very similar to each other, especially when they're all dressed in the same outfits and forced to wear the same hats.
Oh, these are all dwarves?
They're all dwarves doing the loading of the cart.
This won't be odd. Oh, just doing the loading of the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, merchants can be in any shape. The merchants themselves can be in any shape and size, but the group that is currently loading the cart are all dwarves. The cart will finish up loading. There are a couple of guards that come up to the cart and nod to the 5 of you and the 2 drivers of the cart. We've been told that we're all set here. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Very good.
Right, yeah, I mean, I guess, what would I do, perception or sense motive, to make sure that these are, like, legit guards, or?
You can give me a sense motive and a perception. I'll give you both of those. They seem to be wearing what you've seen other guards around here wearing. And none of them seem to have any different like attitudes or actions that they seem to be taking towards you guys. They seem to be treating you the same way they're treating the drivers, the same way they were treating the dwarves that were loading the vehicle.
There's only 5 of us. The 5 of us are the only ones that are the merchants here.
Yeah, the 5 of you, the 2 guards, and the 2 carriage driver or the 2 cart drivers. All right, if we're all ready, then we should head out. I don't want to have this take a long time. This is going to be a long trip, and I don't want us to be delayed on it. I know how often the Merchants Guild tends to complain if things aren't done on time.
Sorry, just a character, real quick.
Mhm.
Are we expected to walk along this thing, or is there like seats inside? Is it a big carriage, or what's the situation exactly?
You are expected to travel next to it. It does not have any seats. This is just a cart that is being pulled by a horse, with 2 drivers sitting up at the seat.
Okay, I'll just say, give me a second to use the little boys' room, and can I find like a corner or somewhere where there would be a washroom or something?
Sure.
Quickly, I'm just gonna cast Mage Armor on myself in private,
Good strategy.
and then come back.
While we're waiting, like underneath the cart, is there like enough room for like a person to be hiding under there or anything like that?
Give me a perception. That is a fair thing to check. All right, so like a good merchant, you take the time to like inspect all throughout the cart, and there's no additional depth to the cart. As you kind of pat underneath it, you can feel like it ends where it's supposed to. There's nothing hidden underneath, no illusory stuff at the top, nothing illusory over the horse. Like you're kind of waving your arms about it, checking for things. It feels like it is the dimensions and shape that it is supposed to be.
All right.
How long is this trip supposed to take?
We are heading out to a small village about, hold on. I am blanking on the distance. About 14 miles from here. It should be a fairly normal trip. Once we arrive, we will be like unloading the goods, and the next afternoon we'll be leaving and heading back this way.
So we're traveling overnight then?
There should be no travel in the evening. We should arrive at sundown at the rate we'll be going.
Steve, before we set out to I probably would have taken the ornate scabbards that the swords are normally in and put it into more of like a crude looking scabbard that would be like in line with the other smithing stuff that I'm peddling.
Perfect. All right, and if everyone is ready, the travel can begin. Anything else anybody wants to do preparatorily?
Nope.
All right. I don't know why I can't hit this thing. All right, let us take a short break, and then we will get outside of town.
I do have one real quick question.
Yeah, what do you got?
I forget. Does making potions take spell point?
It does not take spell points.
Okay, then I think I might want to make it. If I have the time.
You could have done it in the morning if you'd like, because there would have been time in between. I really want to kill this. It's one gnat. It's just one gnat, and it keeps flying into my nose.
Just suck real hard and bring it down to your stomach.
What potion do you want to brew?
How much would it be for a cure moderate wound?
A potion of cure moderate wounds. Hold on one sec. I used to know that off the top of my head. A second level potion would cost normally 300 gold. Since you're producing it, it is subject to the discount first because of the excessive arcana that exists. Times 0.5. So it would be 135 gold for you to make.
Okay. Well, I will make one of those.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Then let us transition to break, and we'll be back soon.